Hello students, in this module we are going to do the revisions of all the revision of all the history and civics chapters in the third term, because we have completed all the chapters. And now probably in this chapter, in this particular session in the revision, I'll be not doing the proper explanation of the topics. Regarding the topics or explanation of the topics, you can let me know on WhatsApp, and that particular related topic I might explain in the modules, or maybe I might send it later onwards in the class WhatsApp group. But here we are going to do the revision question answers probably, and that is related to each individual chapter. We will be doing some few revision question answers which you have done in class 10th in the previous sessions, also previous terms. But here these questions I'll be giving you the answers also. So proper, we'll have the sessions each chapter with the questions and answers. And I would suggest, or rather I would advise you to please note down all these questions. It will not be very handy for you to every time listen to this video and listen to the questions read out and then the answers read out. Rather, it will be more convenient for you if you can write down these questions somewhere in your history registers. And along with that, you can even write down the questions, the answers to this particular question. You can obviously use the play pause method, and with that you will have all the related question answers to this particular chapter. So starting with your revision for the boards, the first chapter we are going to start is the beginning of the modern age. It is the First War of Independence, the Revolt of 1857, also given as the title. So regarding this, I'll be giving you certain questions, and at the same time I'll be giving you the answers also to those questions. Please write them down with the play pause method. Question number 1. Why was the revolt of 1857 different from earlier revolts? Your answer to this, you will write: the mutiny of soldiers involving numerous regiments of the Bengal army was accompanied by widespread popular revolts covering a large area stretching from eastern Punjab to Bengal. Moreover, the leaders of the movement were quite clear about their aim, which was to throw the foreign rulers out of the country. Furthermore, all sections of the population joined in this armed struggle. So this will be your answer number 1. Question 2 related to this chapter is: what pretext was given by the British for the annexation of Awadh, or the annexation of the Awadh? So your answer for this will be: the state of Awadh was annexed by the British on this pretext that the government was not having a proper administration and control in the region, i.e., it was annexed on the grounds of maladministration. Write it as maladministration. Question number 3. Why were the people of Awadh angry with the British? Why were they angry with the British? The answer is: the people of Awadh deeply resented, that means they were very angry, deeply resented the annexation of the state. It led to displacement of nobility and unemployment among officers as well as soldiers. So that is why they were all angry. They resented the annexation because of this reason. Question number 4. State 2 important consequences of the indiscriminate policy of annexations followed by Lord Dalhousie. So you will write, they have asked you about 2 important, so you will write it in point, saying it as: 2 important consequences of the indiscriminate policy of annexations followed as. First point, you will write A point: indiscriminate annexation by Lord Dalhousie created apprehension and suspicion in the minds of the native rulers. And B point, you will write: displaced nobility unemployed officials, and disbanded soldiers became bitter enemies of the British rule in India. So these were the two of the consequences. Then we have question number 5. Question number 5 says, mention 2 laws passed by the British which offended religious feelings of the Indians. In this you will write 2 laws they have asked you. So you will write A point and B point. A point is the practice of sati was made illegal and punishable by law. And B point you will write laws were also made to allow remarriage of widows, to forbid infanticide, and to stop the practice of polygamy. Next is question number 6. It says, state the apprehensions created in the minds of Orthodox Indians about the introduction of railways. So for this you will write, the introduction of railways was perceived by the Orthodox Indians as a deliberate attempt by the British to defile their social customs and religion. The Orthodox Indians were aggrieved to learn that Brahmins and untouchables were to sit side by side in the railway compartments. So majorly it was related to the caste system that they were very grieved. Question number 7. State the reasons for resentment of Indians against the activities of the missionaries. So here you will write, some missionaries used to ridicule and condemn the beliefs, obviously their beliefs, custom and traditions of the Hindus and the Muslims. The government indirectly supported the activities of Christian missionaries. Such activities created resentment and apprehension in the minds of the Indians that the government of the company, that is East India Company, government of the company was trying to convert all of them into Christianity. Next is question number 8. State 2 steps taken by the British that convinced Orthodox Indians that the British were favoring conversions to Christianity. So you will write 2 points. First, A point you will write the imposition of tax or on property belonging to temples and mosques. And B point, the right to inherit ancestral property to persons converted to Christianity. That means they could inherit the ancestral property even after conversion. Question number 9 after this. Give 2 evidences that indicate that India was treated as an economic colony of the industrial England. Economic colony of the industrial England. You will write first point, A point. Heavy burden of export duties was imposed on Indian manufactured goods, which as a result could not compete in the regular foreign markets. And B point you will write the East India Company purchased raw materials at cheap rates from India and flooded the Indian markets with machine-made goods, thus reducing India to a supplier of raw materials and market for the finished products. Next we move on to question number 10. Question 10 is, how did the company exploit Indian economy? So in this you will write, the officials of the company forced the Indian craftsmen to sell their produce at uneconomic prices and also imposed a highly exploitative system of land revenue. Question number 11. State the important consequences of the economic exploitation of India by the British. So your answer number 11 is You will write it in 2 points, A point and B point. A point is it led to collapse of handicrafts and cottage industries. B point you will write it led to the drain of economic resources of India. Then we move on to question number 12. How did the East India Company monopolize Indian trade and commerce? So your answer 12 is the role of Indian traders was reduced to that of commission agents of the company. Indian banking and insurance was also discouraged, and through that they could control the market. Question number 13. What were the causes for the impoverishment of the peasants? Answer 13 is, you will write it in 3 points, A, B and C. A point is peasants lost their hereditary rights and hereditary rights to plots of land, their plots of lands. B point is land revenue was raised again and again. C point you will write the peasants were forced to grow cash crops like indigo, opium and cotton and were forced to sell at a below market price. So that is your answer to question number 13. Question 14. What led to resentment of landlords and talukdars against the British rule in India? So your answer will be the landlords and talukdars were reduced to utter poverty owing to redemption of tax-free lands, confiscation of jagirs, and indiscriminate annexation of native states. The displacement and utter poverty made the landlords and talukdars resented against the British rule in India. Question number 15. State the reasons for discontentment of Indian soldiers against the British rule. In this you will write unjust and discriminatory treatment was meted out to Indian soldiers. The Indian soldiers were paid far less salaries as compared to their British counterparts. Besides, the avenues of promotion for Indian soldiers were also very, very limited. That means they were not given a lot of promotions. Question number 16. State 2 factors that encouraged Indian soldiers to revolt against the British. Here you will write A and B point, and A point you will write the defeat of the British in the first Afghan war broke the myth of British invincibility. They thought that British cannot be defeated, but now they got this idea that British is also not invincible. B point you will write in 1857 there were 40,000 British and 2 lakh Indian soldiers. The numerical superiority of Indian soldiers also encouraged them to revolt against the British because they knew they were more in number. So when they got this idea, they thought that it is good time to revolt. Next you will write, who was Mangal Pandey? Why was he hanged? Mangal Pandey was a sepoy at Barakpur. He refused to use greased cartridges and on being compelled, he killed 2 British officers who were hanged. He was hanged for this particular act. After this, next question is, when and why did sepoys break into revolt at Meerut? So you will write the sepoys at Meerut broke out into a revolt on 10th May 1857. The sepoys were issued greased cartridges on 8th May 1857 and 85 of them refused to use these cartridges. They were dismissed and sentenced to 10 years of imprisonment. This incident sparked off the revolt at Meerut. So that was obviously, you know, because of the Enfield rifle cartridges, which were greased with the pig lard and the cow fat. Here, next we move on to the next question. Name 4 important centers of the revolt. So the 4 important centers of the revolt are Delhi, Kanpur, Lucknow and Gwalior. Next question is, name the prominent leaders of the revolt. We are talking about revolt of 1857. So you will write the main leaders were Bahadur Shah Zafar in Delhi, Nana Sahib at Kanpur, Rani Lakshmibai and Tantya Tope in central India, and then Kunwar Singh in Bihar, and Maulvi Ahmadullah at Faizabad. So these were the important people, those who were the leaders of various revolts, which clubbed together became the revolt of 1857. Next is, state 2 causes for the failure of the revolt. For this you will write A point, lack of planning, organization and leadership. And second point you will write superior resources of the British. Indians were no match in front of the British at that time. They had not that particular kind of weapons and the strategies as well, and even the control obviously. Question next is, state 2 immediate results of the revolt. So 2 important results were end of the rule of East India Company, not of British but East India Company. The government of India was transferred to the British Queen and her parliament. And second point is end of the Mughal rule. So the Mughals also came to end, the Mughal dynasty and every rule, all of that came to an end. Question number 24. Name the act that transferred the government of India from the company to the crown. The act basically which gave this particular declaration is the Act for Better Government of India, passed in 1858. So you can simply write it, the Act for Better Government in India, 1858. Next question, who was the first Viceroy of India? The answer is Lord Canning, Canning. Lord Canning was the first Viceroy of India. So with this, we come to the end of this particular revision question answer session. There are many other questions, but we have taken just a few of them so that you have a general idea of the reasons and maybe the causes afterwards. Sorry, not causes, but consequences that took place or that happened because of this particular revolt. So I hope if you go through these questions again and again, this will help you out even further in completing the revision and preparing yourself in this chapter for the boards. So with this, we come to the end of the module. I hope you must have understood it. Even if you have not understood, not a problem. Write it down, note these question answers, keep revising them. They are going to be beneficial in the longer run. So please work hard, do your best even for the revisions. With this, we come to the end of the session. Have a great day.